I want to talk to you today about your personal boundaries. I want to help you grow in confidence and appear more confident to other people and help you to have a better quality of life and to feel more sustainable overall while reigning over all the stuff that tries to hold you back. By the way, if you don't know me, I'm Vanessa V, and welcome to the Crowned Survivalist channel, where we talk about simplified stress and anxiety hacks to help you better reign over your internal kingdom and the kingdom around you. As we get started, to boost your confidence a little bit, feel free to do the hack that we talked about last week. By the way, the link for that is down below in case you want to know more. But we're going to lift 2 inches in our belly button and spine, feeling a lift in the chest, and we're going to lift our chin 1 inch. Do you feel it? Awesome. So in continuing to hold that, today I'm going to share with you a really simple phrase that can truly help you to revolutionize your relationship with boundaries and to help you feel more confident and appear more confident to other people so that you can live more sustainably, so that you can thrive and not just survive, and so that you can have a better overall quality of life and get closer to who you truly are. It's absolutely helped me, so I'm of course hoping that it'll help you too, because that's what this channel is all about. So before we get to that phrase, I just want to really quickly touch on what personal boundaries are. They look like a lot of different things. I'm going to be posting different things of what those are because there's a lot of different ways to express and define, I guess, what personal boundaries are, and understanding this specific concept can actually help us to define our boundaries a lot better for ourselves, especially if we're kind of unsure as to what those are. That definitely was me quite a few years ago, basically my entire life. I don't know about you, but yeah. So there's a wide variety of sort of defining what personal boundaries are, but basically personal boundaries are just what you, aka your brain, subconsciously or rationally, has sort of decided for you based on life experiences, what those limits or boundaries are for you when it comes to what feeling good and what safety looks like, and what limit you're willing to go or have other people go to sort of infringe on your feeling of safety. And then how you go about enforcing what those limits are and how to approach a situation where other people do not respect what your boundaries are. What's interesting is that your personal boundaries don't necessarily have to be about your relationships with other people. They can be about food, or sleeping, or your schedule, how messy your house gets or your car gets, even tardiness. And so knowing that personal boundaries have to do with our level of safety extends to literally everything in our lives and how we live our lives, privately or socially. So just thinking about that all on its own can actually help us to sort of understand, okay, well, what are my boundaries in terms of that, in terms of these different definitions? What do I view as being safe? And what's the limit that I am willing to go to or have other people go to that infringes on that? And then how, in a healthy way, can I sort of reinforce what my boundaries are? How have you in the past? So if you think about that, just sort of pondering, in the past, when have you felt uncomfortable? When has your brain gotten triggered that something's not quite right, that you don't feel completely safe, happy, comfortable? Something that's occurring, whether it's rational or not, is sort of pinging on what your personal boundaries are in terms of safety and comfort level. And then considering, how did you react? How did you either reinforce your personal boundaries so that you felt safer, or how perhaps did you not? And I know for a lot of us, especially myself, you also, and I don't mean to trigger anyone, but quite often, especially if we grew up with certain rule sets, or in certain societies, or we had trauma that occurred with us, what those boundaries are and how to enforce them can become very, very muddied, especially if we were taught that our boundaries don't matter. Other people's do, but ours don't. And if we try to enforce those boundaries, no, super unsafe. So it's just better to not have boundaries and to not enforce our own boundaries, because we'll actually be safer in those situations if we don't do that. And that can carry through, especially if we learn that growing up. There's no stopping point where you turn you become an adult and suddenly the rule book is, oh, here's different rules to live by. You'll be safer this way. But so often when we learn certain things growing up, they may have served us back then. And I had to learn this with my trauma therapist. Just because things worked back then or helped us to survive back then or in a certain situation, that doesn't necessarily apply to now. And boundaries are part of that. So often, and you may have found this as well, I absolutely did, that when we don't know what our boundaries are, and when we don't enforce our boundaries or know that it's okay to do so, you are projecting to other people your worth. You are projecting to other people that you don't have boundaries, and you tend to draw in unhealthier people who are gravitated to the fact that you don't have boundaries. That can absolutely have a detrimental effect on your quality of life, on your happiness, on your confidence, and how other people view your confidence. And as we talked about last chat, which I will link below, so much of what you do projects to other people how they can treat you. And if you constantly come off as though you don't have confidence and you don't have boundaries, that can definitely tell other people that they do not need to respect you as much. And so when we're familiar with our boundaries and enforce them, that helps us to project to other people, not only that we are confident, but that we know we have value. And we are comfortable and confident in the fact that you're going to protect how valuable you know you are, even if it means there's repercussions. And when you self-advocate, when you enforce your boundaries, that teaches people how to treat you. Your quality of life goes up. Healthier people want to be around you because healthier people tend to have healthier boundaries. People with healthy boundaries want to be around other people with healthy boundaries. And birds of a feather flock together, right? And so not only can it help you to weed out toxic people or unhealthier people in your life, because if they don't want to respect your boundaries, okay, you're going to help to solidify your social network. It will surround you with more reliable people, happier people, healthier people, which helps you to be safer. And you also get to know yourself better, because the more you understand what your boundaries are, the more you know who you are. And it'll help other people around you get to know who you are as well. And so the more that you learn and get to know what your personal boundaries are, which they can look different for everybody, because personal boundaries are based on our life experiences and we all experience different stuff, right? And so the more that you get to know what your personal boundaries are, the more you'll get to know yourself and understand yourself and how you work, which can help unlock so much stress and anxiety, the grip that stress and anxiety can have over your life, but it can also help others to get to know you better as well. So this very simplified phrase can help you to sort of start dipping your toe into the realm of boundaries, if that's a scary thing for you, which I absolutely understand. I was that way too, still am a little bit. Or it can just be a great refresher for you if you are looking to walk through your journey of boundaries a little bit differently. Bonus, this phrase is an amazing phrase to live by. If you're not familiar or you want a refresher of our previous chats of our daily word and our yearly word, I will link those below. This phrase is a phrase that you can lean on all year round. And if you're having trouble picking out a New Year's resolution, this can be an awesome New Year's resolution for you to keep in mind throughout the coming months. Okay, so this phrase, right? Asking yourself when it comes to any situation or a relationship or something you might want to do, even if it's on your own, asking yourself, will this help you to protect your peace? Will this help you to protect your peace? And you know why that's so important? Here's what I've learned. The peace that we feel within ourselves and in our lives helps us to get closer to who you truly are. It is the fountain from which joy comes from, contentment, creativity, happiness, excitement, anticipation, all of those emotions that you can chase throughout your life and wonder, how can I feel this way? That's where the healthy versions of those emotions come from. But we have to reach them and cultivate them. And this phrase can help you to do that in a very easy, simplified way. When we take actions and make choices that help us to protect that peace and to therefore cultivate it, it helps us get closer to that peace, to live in it longer, and to live more sustainably without feeling at the mercy of everybody else, of the situations that we're in, of the things that try to hold us back, of our stress and worry and anxiety and panic and anger, or the rules that you grew up with, or the rules and the relationships that you have right now, the rules that you have for yourself. When all of those things are calling to you to not protect your peace, because they so often aren't, who's protecting it for you? And how could you possibly feel that peace and feel and be sustainable if it's constantly being crumbled and eroded and stepped on and stomped on? I know you want to be healthier. I know you want to be the healthiest version of yourself, and protecting your peace absolutely can help you do that. And so when we just question, will this help me to protect my peace? It does so much. It helps us to clarify what may or may not in our lives help us to be more sustainable and happier. It helps us to understand who we are better, what our triggers are, what sparks that stress and anxiety. Because I know for a lot of you, it's hard to know, why am I having a panic attack right now? Why am I stressed or worried or anxious? And I also don't want to think about that, right? It's so easy to feel so overwhelmed. This can help you to identify those things either ahead of time so they don't happen, or when it is happening. What's happening right now that's not helping me to protect my peace? That is a boundary for you. It doesn't mean that it's right or wrong. It's just your personal boundary. What is causing you and your brain to feel triggered and to feel as though you're in an unsafe situation, you're uncomfortable, you don't like something that's occurring? It's not helping you to protect your peace, which is vital to thrival. So it's not about judgment. It's not about feeling bad or guilty or angry. It's just about acknowledging, this is a boundary that I have. And then considering what actions to take. Now, I understand that for a lot of you, enforcing boundaries can be very scary, because the repercussions of you enforcing your boundaries can often feel so much scarier. The isolation, the abandonment, the hate, the career repercussions, all of that stuff can often feel so much worse than not enforcing your boundaries that you don't. Right? That's what your brain was taught. It may feel uncomfortable to enforce your boundaries. So trying it here and there, experimenting a little bit, seeing how other people do it in a way that feels like it best matches you can be really helpful in just taking small steps. Every situation is going to be different. So how you choose to react, how you feel you need to enforce your boundary can change from moment to moment or situation to situation, person to person, all that stuff. Nobody's perfect. You're not always going to be able to enforce other people's boundaries, just like other people aren't going to be able to as well. And if you want to not just survive, but thrive, doing that for yourself is so important, because at the end of the day, it's all about self-advocating. No one knows what anybody else's needs are but you. You are the only person that knows what your true needs are and what's going to help you to truly protect your peace. And so it truly is up to you to self-advocate, to spend time thinking about cultivating that peace and protecting it and trying to stay in it. It's not about being perfect. It's just another route into reigning over that internal kingdom that we have and helping you to achieve what you work so hard for every single day. The more you do it, the more competent you will be, and therefore the more confidence you'll have. If your boundaries end up disappointing other people, which they will, and other people's boundaries will end up disappointing you, and that's cool, that's life, right? Like, that's reality. It can help you to feel even less guilty about doing that, because you know that it's not from a place of trying to disappoint them. It's from a place of trying to thrive and trying to put yourself and your value in a position of sustainability. And that is vital to your survival, to you thriving, to you feeling great, to you feeling amazing, to you living the life that you want the life that you so desperately want and you are working towards and fighting for and feeling defeated. This phrase can help you get there. And it's so simple, and it really does modify and customize to everybody. So I hope that that's what you're finding with this phrase, with this awesome question. Will this help you to protect your peace? So thank you for being here today. If you have questions or comments, feel free to let me know down below. It really helps me help you better. And remember, you guys, to straighten that crown, go forth boldly, and I will see you next time. Mwah. Bye.